So, as far as our wrapping paper design goes, if you go to the store and you're looking up different wrapping paper, like what is going to attract you to buy a roll of wrapping paper in your store? The design. Okay, so what do you want to see on the design? You want to see details. What else? Relevance to the holiday or like event that you need. Good. What else? How about artistically? What do you think you're going to look for now? Okay, certain color schemes. So let's think like let's this is a cute one. So if I'm looking at this like night version here, do you think I'd be attracted to it if the moons were perhaps dark purple and the background was dark blue? Why not? If it was dark on dark, do you think I would be as attracted to it? Exactly. We won't be able to see it. And so we want to have that kind of contrast between our background and our design. So that's something important we want to keep in mind for our project. So there's tons of different types out there, but usually contrast is like the money that we're looking for. Color is a big one, as we said already. And we want to make sure contrast, the design you're putting on it, we want it to be really easy to see. Okay. And what as we saw before, did they paint and draw this design like 6 feet long for a wrapping paper? Did they make a 6 foot piece of paper to make the original? No. What did they do to start that process and plan the design? How big was the design, let's say? It's relatively small, maybe like a few inches in one direction. So basically, we're going to draw something really small, like perhaps something almost like here, and then we're going to repeat the design. So that's going to be the key for the project. We come up with like a small design. Maybe it's just going to be a few of these little elements, and we're going to use actually Illustrator to make it, draw your design, and then we transfer it to Photoshop, and Photoshop will repeat it into a pattern for us. So there's not a ton of labor involved with the project, which is exciting. I'd say the trickiest part is just making sure it duplicates the way we want. And one of the things I like to compare it to, I like to look up a puzzle piece for this one. Okay. So I like to compare it as like a puzzle piece. We want to have different elements that connect to the other side. So maybe I leave a piece blank here, and then I add a design on this side so that it repeats in one direction. And I leave a little space empty here, but I put the design here so it repeats in another direction. But we'll deal with that a little bit later into like a later design. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? So let's talk a little bit about like the parameters of the project. And I've got lots of samples up in the front of the room. These are some older ones when I had smaller boxes because, like I said, had a hard time finding the boxes and before we had the wide format printer. Alrighty. So our goal for the project first is that we're going to like use a small piece of paper, probably somewhere along this size, and we're going to do 3 different sketches that we could come up with for our project. I'll give you the option. You could either sketch it by hand with a pencil, or if 3 of the people here want to use a tablet and you want to just like loosely sketch it with like a black paintbrush, you could do that too. And then what happens is after I approve it, we'll scan it, and then we'll start drawing over it in Illustrator. And after we're happy with the design, it's usually as fast as importing it into Photoshop and making a big old pattern and adjusting it as we need, which is pretty exciting. My goal is that we're going to make it big, like 18 by 24, so we could print it on the wide format printer. And that's it should fit on like your typical shirt box size in that case. Okay. So what we're looking for here is that we want your overall composition, the design, how well it repeats, and like we talked about, the color scheme, which was one of the keys we said would work out really nicely. Do we have any questions so far? Yeah. For this one, I'd prefer that it's more of an original design rather than something that's like copyrighted or like not original. So if you want to make your own character, feel free. But yeah, we want to keep it like an original design. Yeah, oh yeah, teddy bear. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally. That's fine. I just don't want you to use like you want to use SpongeBob or something and make your own wrapping paper. Yeah, teddy bear totally works. I know sometimes it's tricky to come up with an idea for like what you want. So you may want to think of an occasion first when you're doing this. So like we've got all different samples up in the front of the room. Like they did Valentine's Day, Easter. Some people go with a sports theme, Halloween. It can be like more unconventional. Wrapping paper holidays too. We've got just like the generic. This one's just flowers. We got a beach theme. This is citrus, which is nice. More sports. Christmas. Oh, that one was strawberry milk. That was cute. This little porch jester, animals, candy, stuff like that. So you have a lot of different options as far as those go. Any questions so far? All right, cool. Let's get started. Our plan is this. We're going to sketch the rest of the period today, and then I guess we don't meet tomorrow. The next class period, by the end of the period, you need to have your 3 sketches done. They're going to be 30 points, and then I can grade them, scan them in, and we'll be able to start drawing in Illustrator. There's not really anything new. I'm probably showing you in Illustrator. You'll just end up drawing it. That's about it. Any questions so far?